What's up y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be doing a full face of Catrice. I am super pumped about this one. The drugstore has been killing it lately with all the releases, a lot of which have been really good affordable alternatives to high-end brands. But let me tell you what, drugstore affordable makeup is not so affordable anymore, and Catrice is one of the few brands left that is still what I consider to be more on the affordable side. I do have some other brands on the horizon, videos coming up. If there is a brand in particular that you're interested in that you would love to see a full face of that is on the affordable side, let me know down below in that comment section. I love hearing from y'all and I love hearing your suggestions, but I will have all these products listed and linked below down in the description box. So if you're ever curious about anything, per usual, always check down there. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little box. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom y'all in a little bit and we're gonna get started on this full face of Catrice. Okay, so we're zoomed in, my skin is prepped and ready to go. Let's start with primer. So I picked up the Perfector Poreless Blur Primer with niacinamide. This is gonna help with pores, it's gonna help blur. I don't have a lot of pores, I have normal skin. I will get to that in just a minute, but I do enjoy a poreless primer, especially like on my forehead and like around my nose and my mouth, just because I feel like it starts to kind of help smooth things out, fill in any lines and crinkles that you might have. If you are new here, hello and welcome. I am 39 years old. I have normal skin. I don't get very oily, I don't get very dry. It can kind of fluctuate a little bit with the seasons, but for the most part, I stay even keeled across the board. But I do live in a very hot, humid climate. I'm down here in Houston, Texas, and our summers can get very sweltering. So I tend to go a little bit more towards the mattifying side in the summer. I don't like a super matte face. I prefer something a little bit more light to medium coverage and more of a skin-like finish. But this feels really, really nice. My skin feels very smooth. It feels like silk, actually, like very, very smooth. Okay, all right, so far, so good. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the Catrice Soft Glam Filter Fluid. This is a glow booster. This is the product that kind of started it all. If you have been here on my channel, you know I love this so much. It is one of my absolute favorite glow boosters. It is lightweight, it is not oily, it has a beautiful, beautiful just glow to it. It's not metallic-y, it's not shimmery, it doesn't feel oily or greasy. It is very, very, very lightweight on the skin. Where is my brush for this? Y'all, per usual. Found it. Okay. So like I was saying, this is just a beautiful product. I absolutely love it. It is affordable and the shade range is what does it for me. This is one of the few that does not lean super yellow. The ones from Charlotte Tilbury, Elf, Juvia's Place, they all have a very yellow undertone. Even the one for Auric that I love so, so much, they just had this yellow cast to them, and I am very cool undertoned. I am very fair complected, and yeah, they work great under foundation, but if I want to wear them on their own, just a day that, you know, I'm not really doing a whole lot, maybe I've got some errands, don't really have time to throw on some makeup, and I just want a beautiful glow, I want something that's going to look natural on my skin, and this does that for me. It does not have any coverage, it's not going to do anything like that, but it's beautiful and it's a favorite. For foundation, we have the True Skin Foundation. This is a hydrating foundation. It's going to give you a medium to buildable coverage. It is going to be very lightweight, very natural finish on the skin. And it's been a really long time since I've tried this one. I have the shade 002 Neutral Ivory. I believe it was the lightest one that they have. I don't remember what shade I used to use, but I used to love this one back in the day when you could still pick up Catrice at the drugstore, especially Ulta. And when they kind of kicked it out, I kind of forgot about it, but I remember loving it. And look at that, absolutely beautiful. This is a really good shade match for me. It was hard to tell online. The shades aren't the best, and that's kind of a trend that I see with more affordable drugstore brands, is that they don't have the widest shade range, and when you are fair skinned and like really deep skinned, they don't really cater to us a whole lot, so it can be really hard to find your perfect shade. But I think this is a really good match. Okay, I remember why I love this one. Complexion is looking good. I'm loving the way that it's sitting on the skin. Let's move on to under eyes. So I did pick up their Instant Awake Under Eye Brightener. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Becca Under Eye Brightener. I loved that one back in the day. I went through a whole one, but I never repurchased it when Smashbox acquired it. I don't know why, but we're gonna try this one out. It looks the same. This feels super, super, super creamy in the pot. It only comes in one shade, so you know, if you've got darker skin, this may not be for you, but I want to test it out. Like I said, this is supposed to be a dupe, and I use the word dupe very lightly. I feel like in order to be a dupe, it has to be 100% spot on, but we can definitely get the same vibes from products. But look at that. That's a really good one. It feels very lightweight. It does feel very hydrating, very slippy under the eye. I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds to kind of dry down, see what it does, and then we're gonna go in with concealer. All right, so I've had this on under my eyes for a couple of minutes now. It has sunk into the skin very nicely. It does still have a little bit of like moisture to it, I guess is what you could say. It doesn't feel tacky or sticky, but it's not dried down to like a powder finish. So if you're gonna wear this on its own, I definitely think you need to put a little bit of powder on over top of it. Otherwise, it might kind of cake and stick into your creases and wrinkles under your eyes. But we are gonna go over top of this with concealer. I have the True Skin Full Coverage Concealer. I have never tried this one before. I don't know why, it's been around forever, but this is supposed to be hydrating, very lightweight, full coverage, and it's supposed to be waterproof, which I'm really excited about because I have really, really watery eyes. Sometimes they're more watery than others, but this is the shade, what are you? 001 Neutral Swan. Again, I went for pretty much the lightest of everything, just because that's usually what I do, but we're gonna do a little bit under here. Okay, this feels very thin in consistency. It doesn't feel super liquidy, but it doesn't feel thick. It doesn't feel cakey or heavy. It does feel kind of cooling under my eyes as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out with a sponge, and we're gonna see what this looks like. Now, I always set my under eyes with a powder, even if it's a concealer that kind of sets down on its own. That is an added bonus, but I like to do colorful eye makeup, and if I don't set my under eye, it's gonna stick. If I get any fallout, it's gonna make a big mess. It's gonna transfer, so I will absolutely be setting my under eye, but that looks beautiful, y'all. My complexion's looking really good. I am excited. I have no words. Okay, so for powder, I have the Soft Glam Filter Powder. They did have a couple of other options, but they were all very like mattifying powders, and I don't like anything super mattifying, super cakey, super thick. So I went for this one instead. This one is supposed to have color correcting. It's supposed to have a little bit of a sheen to it. It does feel very nice. Maybe not the most finely milled powder in the world, but it does have a really pretty sheen to it. So I'm excited. We're going to use this all over the face. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with a little triangle poof sponge thingy, and I'm going to set my under eyes, and then we're going to do the rest of the face with a brush. But okay, that looks pretty. Let me get a mirror so I can get a closer look at my under eye. Okay, that looks nice. It's not the most blurred my under eye has ever looked, but it's not the cakiest it's ever looked either. I have some powders that just really cling and stick to the under eyes, and this isn't doing that. Now this definitely has like a brightening effect to it, so maybe something to keep in mind. All right, so for the rest of the face, I'm just gonna go in with a fluffy brush. And what I like to do is coat my brush really well, and I like to pat it in. And then I go back at the end and kind of swirl. But this kind of presses everything into the skin, makes sure that everything is set really well and nothing is moved around. All right, so I'm gonna go back and brush off the excess, no extra powder, just whatever's left, brushing it across. This is definitely giving a white cast. Like I can tell my foundation got a lot lighter when I put this on. So this may not be for everybody. Just saying. Use at your own discretion. All right, face feels set. It doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel heavy. It still feels very lightweight. But again, we have that white cast in the powder. I'll be okay. I can bronze up, put on blush and all of that, and you won't really be able to notice. But like I said, if you have a deeper skin tone, proceed with caution. Okay, for bronzer, we have this little guy right here. This to me screams Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Does it not? Tell me I'm wrong. And we're gonna try it. I don't know about the shade. There wasn't a whole lot of bronzing options either, but I thought this one was cute and I really love the one from Charlotte Tilbury. So we're gonna see if this is indeed a dupe. So let me grab a brush. Why am I not prepared? I'm never prepared, y'all. Okay, so this is a Morphe R10. This is an oldie but a goodie. So I'm gonna go into the bronzer right here. Pigmented, but we'll see what it looks like on the skin. So I'm just going to lightly fluff this on. Okay, so it's not as dark once you get it on as it looks in the pan, which I like. I have really been enjoying a lighter bronzer lately, and I'm loving something with a more neutral tone. This is definitely a more neutral tone. It is a little leaning on the warm side, but it's not like an orangey warm. It's not like a pinky or red tone. It's very much so on the neutral side. Okay, so I like the way that went on. That is a very pretty bronzer. It blended out beautifully. It's not overly pigmented. It's definitely buildable, and it didn't patch or skip or do anything weird. So far so good. Let's move on to blush. I picked up one of the Air Matte blushes. This is in the shade Spice Space. Am I reading that right? I think I'm reading that right. Yeah, Spice Space. So this is a matte blush. It is a very pretty, just like dusty pink shade, very neutral. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on and see what this does. I've heard a lot of good things about these blushes from Catrice. So let's see what the pigmentation is like. Okay, so very soft. It does have pigmentation. There's not nothing there whenever I put it on, but it's also not super in your face either. It was a really pretty color though. Yeah, I like that. Very pretty. All right, so real quick, I want to show y'all something. I don't know if you can see it, but I noticed on my forehead whenever I was kind of blending everything out and making sure that everything was meshing together, if you look, it looks like it's kind of lifting and patching and doing, like breaking apart up here really is what it is. I don't know what it is because I don't remember ever having that issue with the foundation in the past. I know I don't have that issue with the, what's it called? The Soft Glam Filter Fluid. So I don't know if it's the primer, if it's the powder, if it's the combination of everything. You would think all being Catrice, it would work together, but I just wanted to point that out to y'all, show y'all what's going on. Hopefully whenever we set everything with setting spray, it'll kind of melt everything back together and mesh. I will continue to test all these products with other products in my collection, holy grails, things that I know and love, and give you an update in a future speed reviews video, but I just wanted to show y'all what was going on. But blush wise, I think it's beautiful. I like the tone of it. I like the way that it went on. It looks very, very pretty. It is matte and I'm not mad about it, but let's move on to highlighter. So there is a highlighter in this little compact right here, but I picked up this highlighter. Like, how pretty and cute is that? Like, look at the embossing. What? And this was not expensive at all. I think this was probably more expensive than other things, but it still wasn't a lot. Look at how cute that is. So we are going to try this on. Okay, so it does feel, it feels smooth. It doesn't feel super, whoa, holy smokes. Did you see that? Y'all, what? Oh, a little bit of hard pan though. Just saying. It doesn't bother me. I can get rid of it. But that is blinding. Okay, I'm excited to put this on my face. Let's do this. Okay. So this is just a Rare Beauty highlighter brush. Ready? Whoa. That is... Oh, that's everything I want in a highlighter. But is it going to emphasize texture and melt into the skin? That's what I want to know. Y'all, why is nobody talking about this? Why is nobody talking about this blinding highlight from Catrice? I think this is a newer product too, because I went kind of like through the new stuff, and then when I couldn't find, I went back to the old stuff. That is so pretty. It has more of a transparent base to it, not completely, but enough that when I look straight ahead, you don't see this stripe. It melted in beautifully. It's not emphasizing texture. I don't have a lot of texture on my cheeks, but if something is going to emphasize texture, it will kind of do that a little bit on my skin, and I'm not getting that. Y'all, absolutely gorgeous. I'm floored. Okay, let's go ahead and set everything and then we can move on. So I have the Prime and Fine Multi-Talent Fixing Spray. This is a long-lasting, prepares skin, sets, and refreshes. So this is everything that I want in a setting spray. So let's see what the mister is like. It's pretty fine. It's a little aggressive, but it doesn't have a smell to it. I think I put on way too much, but it's okay. All right, so I'm gonna take my little velour poof and I'm just going to press this in up here on my forehead where we were having that separation and see if it can kind of bring everything back to life. That did go on really nicely. It is a very wet setting spray, but I didn't get like any water droplets on my skin. I don't feel like it disrupted my makeup in any way, but you definitely don't need as many pumps as I did. All right, so no improvement on the forehead, but we're gonna roll with it. It is what it is. I will keep y'all posted as to what is going on. But before we do eyes, let's do lips really quick. So I don't even know if this is gonna go together. It was really hard to see the colors online. A lot of them look the same. The tubes look different than the swatches. It was a whole thing, but I did pick up a liner and I picked up one of these little clicky pen thingies that are so popular. So let's do the liner first. This is a plumping lip liner. This is in the shade, does it have a shade name? Manhattan. I don't even remember picking out this shade, but let's do a swatch right here. Okay, so it's like a really pretty, like nudie brown shade. Okay, we're gonna go for it. It is one of those that twists up. It's not a pencil, so you can't sharpen it. I'm a fan of like a more pencil type lip liner than I am a twist up, but there are some good ones out there that are twist ups. All right, so that is a really pretty color. It did glide on very nicely. It is very creamy, maybe a little more creamy than what I prefer, but if you like a really creamy liner that you can kind of manipulate after you get it on, this one does feel really nice. I don't feel a plumping sensation or anything like that, so I don't know about the whole plumping effect, but I do like the color of it. Like the color is really pretty. Okay, let's do this. This is the Melt and Shine Juicy Lip Balm. I have the shade Secret. Cute. I like it. Okay, so let's click this little guy up. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to click this before I get anything. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so let's do a little swatch on the back of the hand. Okay, so this one definitely feels a little more stiff than like the ones from Tarte, Elf, ColourPop, all of those. But it is very sheer, very pretty. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of like smudge out this lip liner just a little bit and treat this more like a gloss. All right, let's put this on. It does glide on really nicely. It feels hydrating. I like that it's not like goopy and like really soft and kind of breaking apart. This is pretty. And it goes with the liner better than I thought it would. Okay, yay me. That's really pretty. I like it. It is definitely more on the balmy side than the glossy side. So if the ones that I mentioned earlier are just a little too sticky, a little too thick for you, maybe look into this one. It doesn't really have a smell to it, but it does feel nice on the lips. We'll see how long it lasts. Oh, it's one of those that doesn't go back down, so be careful of that as well. But I think there's enough room in the cap that it's not gonna squish into the top. Okay, real quick before we jump into eyes, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows, prime my eyes really quick off camera. I didn't pick anything up in that department, but then I do have an eyeshadow palette to play with. All right, my eyes are primed, my brows are done. I did go in with my Milk Makeup Kush Brow Tint and my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. But let's move on to eyes. We have a cute little eyeshadow palette to play with. It is this one right here. This is the Coral Crush Slim Eyeshadow Palette. And look at this color story. Super cute. It is very neutral. We do have some peaches. We have these pops of teals over here. I really just want to try out the formula and see if there's really good drugstore brand formulas out there. I don't have a lot of experience in that department. I've always gone for like higher end indie brands, things like that, but we're gonna test this out. So I think we're gonna do something a little bit more on like the neutral side. I do love a neutral look. I will definitely try out these teals later, but they're not gonna go with what I have planned for today. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this shade right here. This one is called Coral. It is just a very light, like cool undertoned kind of nude shade, nothing exciting. And I'm gonna go in with whatever this brush is right here. I can't remember, I got this in a BoxyCharm. So I'm gonna pick up the shade Coral and I'm just going to fluff this into my crease. Like I said, we are really just trying to test out the formula, get a feel for it. Is it gonna patch? Is it gonna skip? What's the pigmentation like? Are we gonna have fallout? Are we gonna have creasing? All of that. And you know what? I do see a little something there. Even though this is very light, very close to my skin tone, I can see it. Okay. So with a Morphe M453 brush, I'm gonna go into this shade right here, this kind of mid-toned, like pinky shade. It is called Beach Flirt. And I'm gonna fluff this into like the outer portion of my crease, starting to build up a little bit more depth and definition. I wanna see how these shades are gonna stack up on each other. Are they gonna start to patch? Are they gonna lose pigmentation? And it doesn't look like that is happening. That's really pretty. Soft, not super pigmented, but it is going on really nicely. I'm gonna take that onto my lower lash line as well. I am gonna bring it all the way across. All right, we're gonna see how much depth we can get out of this. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is called Reef. This is a Morphe M506 brush, and I'm just gonna put this right into my outer corner, giving a little bit of depth and drama, hopefully. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's pretty. This is really nice. Like, I'm impressed. I mean, is this an indie eyeshadow formula? No. Is this a Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath? No. But is this really, really nice? Absolutely. And I don't think it's just nice for the price. I think this is really nice. Like, I think that this formula is a lot nicer than the one that I tried in that Profusion palette. Granted, I've only tried the one, and I do know that a lot of like more affordable eyeshadows can be very hit or miss. I've heard that from a lot of people, but I do think that this formula is a lot nicer. It's going on prettier, it's more pigmented, it's blending out nicer. This is impressive. I'm just gonna put this right here on the outer corner of my lower lash line just to kind of connect everything. I'm not taking it very far over, but look how pretty that is. Ugh, I'm super impressed. Okay, let me pop on some NYX glitter primer really quick, and then we're gonna pop into a shimmer, see how punchy these are, how reflected they are, if they're smooth, if we get fallout, if we get any creasing, accentuating texture, all of those good things that we do and don't want from a shimmer. All right, so where do we want to go for shimmer? We have several different options. This looks more like a satin shade, so does this one here. Like a little bit more than a satin, but not a full-on shimmer. These two look very sparkly and pretty. I like this one as well though, but I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this one right here. This one is called Jellyfish. We're gonna do this one all over the lid. Okay, so these don't feel super creamy. They do feel a little like gritty, but not horrible, not like sandpaper or anything. But I'm gonna pop this one on my lid. Okay, a little underwhelming, but again, we're not messing with indie shadows or anything like that. But that's very pretty actually. For what it is, she is pretty. We're not gonna discount her. All right, so I'm gonna go into this shade called Treasure right here. It's like this deep brown shimmer, and I'm gonna put it right here where that shimmer and that matte meet. And then I'm just gonna disperse it with a clean finger just so everything blends really nicely. I mean, it already is blended, but I wanna test out as many shades as I can. Okay. Okay, so for the inner corner, we're gonna do this one right here. This one is called Seashell. So I'm gonna pick this up with a Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray it with a little bit of my MAC Fix Plus, and then we're gonna pop this on the inner corner. So we're gonna kind of see what you're gonna do. Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, that looks really pretty. Not super reflective, but that's okay. Now, I did not pick up any liners. I completely forgot. I skipped over that. So I'm just going to go in with what I have, but I do have a mascara to try. Alright, so the eyes are complete with everything except for mascara. I did go in with a Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in the shade Bronze in my lower waterline, and then for my lid, I went in with my new Lancome Idole Ultra Precise Waterproof Liner. This is in the shade Maple Syrup Brown, and I like the eye look. I think it looks really pretty. I did get a small little amount of fallout. I have a feeling it was with the shimmers. It was kind of like right over here. It did fluff away. It didn't leave like any remnants behind or anything. But let's go ahead and do mascara. So I have this one that I picked up. This is the Lash Changer Volume Mascara. It had the best ratings on the website. So this is going to give you volume. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It is black. So let's open her up. Okay, I did not realize that was there. Okay, let's open her up, see what this wand looks like. I don't like a super big wand, and that's not bad. That is very, very promising. Okay, let me curl my lashes really quick. I forgot to do that, and then we will throw this on. All right, so here we go. First coat, I do like the wand. It's not too big. It's getting in here really nicely. It's not like a silicone wand, so it's not one of those, but that's really pretty. Like, look at that. Look at those lashes. Okay. We'll see how this holds up, if we get any transfer, if it's gonna make my curl fall, anything like that. It's not waterproof, and I do have really watery eyes. There are some mascaras that even though they're not waterproof, they still kind of hang on for dear life when my eyes start to water. So we'll see how that holds up as well. But let me do a second coat and we'll compare. All right, second coat is on. What do we think? I'm really impressed. Like, it's giving falsies. There's lots of volume. It did give a little bit of length. Generally, I prefer length over volume because volume tends to clump, but this is really, really pretty. It didn't clump. It went on really nicely. I think it's really pretty. So we'll see how this holds up. It's really hard to tell from a fresh mascara how it's gonna do, just because the formula tends to change once the air hits it, once it's been open for a little bit and it's been used. And also I like to see how quickly they dry up. I know mascaras generally have a 3-month shelf life. I always go past that. I know I probably shouldn't, but I do. I just kind of play it by how I feel about it. I know my eyes are clean. I'm not sharing it, anything like that, but we'll see how it holds up. All right, y'all, so that is going to complete this look. What do we think? I'm really liking it. I think overall it came out really, really nice. I'm impressed with the way everything looks. Like, I would never look at this and think that this was all like drugstore, all Catrice, very affordable across the board. But let's go ahead and chat about some of these products because I do have some first initial impression thoughts on these. So first of all, let's start with kind of these standouts in this. And the first one is going to be, where are you? Oh, the highlighter. This is so blinding, so beautiful, very smooth. Like I said, it doesn't feel the smoothest in the pan. It doesn't have like that wet feeling or anything, but it's like bam on the cheek. It melted in. Absolutely beautiful. I'm really enjoying that. I'm excited about that one. The eyeshadow palette, I really like this. Are the shimmers my favorite? No, they're not as punchy as I like. I am an indie girl through and through, but they are very pretty on the lid. They went on really nicely. They're not emphasizing texture. We'll see how long they last, but the mattes in here, The mattes are good. I am really impressed. I can't wait to dive into this teal shade right here. I'm definitely gonna have to do a short with it and see what that looks like on the eye. We already know that I love the soft glam filter. If you're new here, if you haven't seen me talk about this before, this is absolutely beautiful. It is a favorite. I have reviewed it. I have a short on it. Hands down, absolutely beautiful. The mascara, this is really, really nice. It is a little bit of a drier formula, so it makes me a little bit weary that it's maybe not going to last as long as some of my other mascaras, but again, it wasn't very expensive. It was a little bit more on the affordable side, so in the end, you kind of have to weigh how long is a high-end mascara going to last versus one that's more affordable. The bronzer. I thought the bronzer was really, really nice. It went on beautifully. It's not overly pigmented. It didn't patch. It didn't skip. It blended out really nicely. Let's do a swatch of the highlighter really quick and see what this looks like. This definitely feels a little bit more on the powdery side, and it's definitely a little bit more on the subtle side. So if this one is too much for you, this one is really pretty. I think it looks nice. I will have to test that out further as well. The primer, this felt really nice on the skin. I can't attest to like longevity of the makeup or anything like that. I do need to try it with other foundations in my collection, but first impression, I think it's really, really nice. Drugstore usually has some really good primers. The foundation and the concealer, like I said, I have tried this before. I loved it back in the day. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of thinking like, all signs are pointing to the powder. I wasn't impressed with it. We'll get to that in a minute, but I do think this is still really nice. I like it. The shade is really pretty. It does look very pretty on the skin, and the same for the concealer. I think this is beautiful. It's not creasing. It's not caking. It still looks really nice under my eyes. We will see how it lasts throughout the days. My eyes are starting to water, so we're gonna find out really quick how that does. The under eye brightener, this was very creamy, very hydrating. It felt really nice under the eye. The concealer went on very nicely over top, and it does have a really pretty like pink pigmentation to it, and I like it. Ooh, I had to pause. My eyes were watering really good. Okay, the blush. This was pretty. It's a matte blush. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It wasn't super pigmented, but it definitely built up. It looks nice on the cheeks. It's not going to give you like an airbrush finish. It's not anything like groundbreaking. It's not anything to write home about it, but if you're looking for a good affordable blush that's matte, this one is really pretty. I like the shade of it. They had other colors that I thought were really pretty as well. The setting spray, it felt nice going on. It wasn't super watery. It didn't do anything weird to my makeup. It didn't lift it. It didn't really correct what was going on my forehead, but you know, you can't get everything, and sometimes things are unfixable, but so far I think this is nice. We'll see how it works longevity wise. I will keep testing that one out as well. The two lip products, I thought these were really nice. I'm impressed. Also, I did go to wipe off the lip liner, and look, it dries down. So it is going to stay in place a pretty good while. I will let y'all know maybe in a pinned comment or a future video how well this holds up, but this I thought was really nice. Like I said, this is more along the lines of a balm than it is a gloss, so very nice. I like that it's not super sticky. It does still feel very hydrating on my lips. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long the color is going to last, but I'm not getting that stringy thing, and it's not doing anything weird. It's not settling into lines. It's not drying out my lips. So far that is a winner in my eyes. The last product that we have to talk about is the Soft Glam Filter Powder. First impression, I don't like this. One, it left a very, very white cast on my skin. I noticed immediately when I put it on that the color of my foundation changed. It does look a little heavy under my eyes, not horrible, but I have a feeling this is why it's sitting weird on my forehead. This is why things are kind of breaking apart. It is only my forehead, like I don't see it around my nose or my mouth or anything, so maybe there's something else going on with my forehead. Maybe I should have exfoliated really, really well, but I do need to keep testing this out. First impression, I'm not a fan of it. I don't recommend it, but I could be shooting myself in the foot and completely take that back later. So I will keep y'all posted, but Other than that, that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. I think we found some really good products in here. A lot of things I'm really impressed with. I'm excited to keep testing out, keep using. But like I said, if you have any suggestions for brands that you are curious about, let me know down below in that comment section. Let me know what you thought of this look. Let me know if you have any of these products. What are some of your favorite products from the drugstore or the more affordable section? I love to hear from you. Let's light it up, have that conversation down below. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.